Hello, welcome back to Comics and Cards. Your host Tony with another Junk Wax era pack breaks. This time we got Topps Stadium Club 91. So I guess it was Topps' answer to Upper Deck, who was definitely outdoing them at this time in the card business. So this is their answers to them. I'm not sure who there is to chase in this one. I don't think there's any big rookies. Just Griffey. Your normal sets with no one big in it. The chase, so Glenn Allen Hill. Mark Salas. Bob Tewksbury. Rene Gonzalez. Never heard of him. Steve Dedker, Alex Cole, Mark Davidson, Frank Dipping, Greg Harris, Scott Kamenecki, John Hybad, Pete Smith. That's a pretty common deck. A lot of nobodies in that one. Or guys I never heard of anyways. Juan Augusto. Juan Berenger. James Quirk. Greg Harris. Looks like that again. Scott Caminiti. What is that? Two same packs? Jeez. John Habion, Tim Lavagna, Darren Lewis, at least heard of him. John Russell, Mike Felder, Thomas Howard. Wow. No All-Stars, no Hall of Famers in that one. They're kind of hard to open up. Kirk Gibson, there's your All-Star for sure. Jeff Treadray, Dave Smith, Bud Black, Kevin Wickander, Alex Hamaker, Phil Stevenson, Scott Leas, Ken Opperkel, oh man, Commons, John Russell, Mike Felder, Thomas Howard again. Wow. Alright then. Can't have two Griffies in a row. You gotta have two Thomas Howards. Guess that's the way breaking goes sometimes. Look at the prices on these back in the day. 3 for $27 or $10 each. Whoa. That's a lot of money for 1992. Or 91, I guess. Lloyd Mosby, I believe he was an all-star. He had some good years for the Jays. Craig Worthington, Kirk Skill, Dwight Evans. Like I said, put the man in the Hall of Fame. He deserves it. Same stats as Jim Rice. Norm Charlton. Andy Hawkins. Scott Belinda. Jack Armstrong. George Bell, he's an all-star. He had a good year for the Jays, pretty close to Triple Crown numbers, 47 home runs and 3-0 something batting average, really good. Greg Smith, Bruce Hurst. Not too good so far. Alex Fernandez, he had an okay career. I think I kind of remember him. Randy Tompkin, Darren Dalton, he's an all-star. Terry Mulholland, Brooke Jacoby, Luis Polonia, he was a good utility player. Bob Green, Mookie Wilson, everybody knows that cat didn't get through Buckner. Daryl Boston, Tom Pagnosi, I always get that guy. Wally Joyner, Jose Canseco. I like Jose Canseco. He lost all his money he made drinking, making baseball, playing baseball, and had to come up with a book to rat at all his fellow players about steroids. So I think the guy's kind of a worm in my opinion. I did like him back in the day, but yeah, that's kind of wormy. Ratted everybody else to sell a book because you lost all your money. Neil Heaton, David McGannon, Mike Sosa, kind of avoid that guy. Matt Williams, he used to have some pop in his bat, hit for good home runs but low average. Kevin Brown, Jose Gonzalez, Jerome Walton, Barry Bonds, Jeff Hudson, Billy Ripken, we all know what he's famous for. Barry Bonds is quite a character. I heard his read in Baseball Digest that one of the guys wanted him to sign some a bat or a ball or a glove or something like that for kids with cancer. And he refused. So that shows you kind of guy Barry Bonds is. He doesn't sign stuff to help kids, especially with cancer. What a douchebag. Never liked him after I read that. Mike LaValle, his name was Spanky, his nickname. Bob Block. Jose Lind. Barry Larkin, he's an all-star Hall of Famer. Arl Hersheider. Not sure if he's in the Hall of Fame, but I know he's an all-star. He ate up the A's in '88 there. Paul O'Neill, definitely an all-star. Sandy Alomar, he's an all-star. Tom Gordon. Harold Reynolds. Kent Anderson. Oh, there we go. Nolan Ryan. A card that's worth more than $1. Nolan Ryan in its Sunday best. Throwing heat in its Sunday best, hey? How cool is that? Mr. Ryan gets a glove. Very popular player. Became iconic when he beat up Robin Ventura. How's that to be Robin Ventura, hey? Guy was a decent player. And all you remembered for is getting beat up by an old guy. History can be hurtful sometimes, hey? Corey Schneider, Mike Stanton. I believe, did he play for the Mets? I think he was part of that collapse in '86 there, that series in Boston there. I think he was pitching. Or is it Bob Stanton? I'm not sure. Lee Gutterman, Craig Gerbach, Alan Mills. Well, a lot of guys I don't even recognize. Pat Kelly, Paul Ferries, checklist. Bob Patterson, Jeff Bentley, Tommy Green, Ron Hasse. I remember him from the Oakland Athletics. Jim Eisenreich. I believe he was an all-star. I think he had epilepsy or something like that. Glenn Allen Hill. He was a good prospect for the Jays. Didn't really pan out. Mike Deverell. Ken Hill. Bob Patterson. Paul Asenmacher. Very German name. Chris Carpenter. Scott Terry. George Bell again. Gerald Perry, Greg Smith, Bruce Hurst, pardon me. One card that's worth over $1 so far. Jeff Conine, I believe that's his rookie. He's going to be heading to the Hall of Fame. So it might spike. I know cards go up a little bit once the guy hits the Hall of Fame. So I'll put a glove on him. He almost got in the Hall of Fame last year. Gary Green. Devon White. Devon White was a good player, man. He was a good fielder. Walt Terrell. Scott Raczynski. Eric Plunk. Jack Clark. He used to play first base for the Yanks. Scott Layas before manually. Ken Operkel. John Smiley. Tim Leary. Willie McGee. Steal lots of bases. That guy, he's fast. Franklin Stubbs. John Candelaria. Bob Melvin. Terry Steinbach. Definitely remember him from those A's teams. Chuck McElroy, Tom Lampkin, Jeff Reed, Richard Gonzalez, Norm Charlton again, this dude again, Ozenmacher, Chris Carpenter again, Scott Terry. Why can't those be Griffey's or Nolan Ryan's? Keith Miller, Teddy Higuera, Carney Lansford, third bag. I remember him from the A's. Oh, Sammy Sosa, looking very early 80s with the hair there. Doesn't look like to be his rookie. Show him off in the they're showing him off in 90 Topps debut. David Wells, I believe he was an All-Star. Greg Myers. Greg Maddux, All-Star Hall of Famer. Mark Kubasaw, he was an All-Star. He's a big name, kind of a bit in the late 80s there. Greg Colburn, BJ Surhoff, Tiki Tong. There we go, here's a nice player at the bat. Cal Ripken, that record will never even be approached. Sid Beam, his Iron Man streak. Jose Offerman, Rock Reigns. He was literally Rock Reigns. That baseball documentary with Ken Burns. The guy would slide head first because he didn't want to break his Coke vials in the back of his pants. That's horrible, man. Eric Klunk, Jack Clark again, Dan Wilson, Sid Campusano, Chris Hoyles, Mitch Webster, and the checklist that no one ever uses, Tim Hewlett. Rock Reigns, yeah, slide it head first. Don't want to bust your rock. Him and Strawberry and Doc Gooden. That Art Howe, or Steve Howe for the Yankees, he was really bad too. Roger McDowell, Dave Gallagher, Pedro Guerrero, he's an all-star. Ray Langford, George Bell again for the third time. Come on, why can't those be Griffey's? Gerald Perry, Greg Smith, Bruce Hurst, Kevin Wickander, Alti Hamacher, Phil Stevenson, Tim Lalagna, bunch of comments. The Travis Ryman rookie. As mentioned before, thought he would do a lot better in his career. He had a lot of strikeouts, but he had some good numbers at first. Todd Stoudemire. Sam Horn, man, he could hit home runs. He didn't have too many bats, but he could hit a lot of home runs. Eric Plunk again. Jeez. Jack Clark again for the 18th time. Dan Wilson again for the 18th time. So Kansas Craig Coyles again. Mitch Webster. Tom Hewlett again. Tim Hewlett. Got lots of exposures to Tigers there, beating Canada. Our first American TV was basically Detroit, so I remember watching lots of Tigers games. Ernie Howell, the announcer there, was pretty good. So Mickey Templeton, so I remember him. He's an all-star. Bernard Keekley, Roberto Alomar. He's a good player. Spit on the ump, though. Not a good look from Herm Winningham. Jesse Orozco, Joel Skinner. Oh man, I'm glad I don't have that last name. Tim McKish, Scott Raczynski, Jeff Bradley, Ken Caminiti. He's an all-star, Hall of Famer, I believe. Passed away. Oscar Zozakar. Caminiti. Must have died because of steroids, I think. Hurt. Rafael Primero, Mr. Steroids himself. Mike Devereaux, John Delone, Rob Deere, Danny Darwin, Craig whatever, Scott Bankhead, Rick Honeycutt, Mike Witt, Mike Heath, Lloyd McClendon, Fred McGriff, Crime Dog, Hall of Famer this year, so congratulations to him. Not like he'd be watching, but he deserved it. He was a good player for the Jays. I was pretty upset when they traded him for John Allrood, but John Allrood came to be a pretty solid player. Andres Galarraga, the big cat. He's an all-star. Damon Berryhill, Spike Owen, Tom Bessinger. There was hype on him. I used to stack his rookie cards. I thought that was going to be my retirement fund when I was a kid. Didn't pan out. Thanks, Todd Bessinger. Damn it. Wade Boggs, Hall of Fame. Eric Davis, All-Star. Greg Lifton. I liked Eric Davis. I liked 30-30 guys back in the day. Jim Davies. Brian Holman. Mark Langston. I remember he was psyched when he went to the Expos. Fernando Venezuela. Come on, I gotta pull out one Griffey. One Griffey, man. There's no way I would have been able to afford these when I was a kid. Otis Nixon. Mike Fitzgerald, Mike Jeffcoat, Mickey Sasser, Annie Bennis, Chuck Finley, Jack Howell, Felix Herman, Dick Schofield, Alan Trammell, All-Star Hall of Famer, Ricky Jordan. He was pretty good. I think he was All-Star a couple times. Greg Olson, there was also big hype on him as a rookie. Robin Ventura, there you go. Here's the guy himself. Bruce Ruffin. Jay Buhner. Edgar Martinez. Larry Walker, there you go. The farm club, which was the Expos, man, they bring up talent and just have them leave all the time. Couldn't afford to sign them. Greg Brock, Todd Zeal, there was hype on him too back in the day. Mike Fetters, Brett Saberhagen, he was an all-star. And Tony Phillips, I believe, was an all-star too. He's a good second baseman for the Tigers. Mark McGuire, Mr. Roids himself. Dave Smith. Billy Spires. Ken Hill. Yeah, you can definitely tell Mark was on the steroids. You look at his early cards and you look at his later cards, you can tell a big difference. Same with Barry, too. Chuck McRell, Elroy. Tom Lampton. Jeff Reed. Rich Rodriguez, Norm Charlton, Paul Ozenmacher, Chris Carpenter again, Scott Terry. Well, one Frank Thomas, one Griffey. Juan Augusto. One Behringer, I don't know how you pronounce that name. Kent Merker. Tom Glavine. George Bell again. Gerald Perry. Craig Smith. Willie Wilson. Brian Harper. Dennis Cook. Tom Herr. I believe he won World Series with the Cardinals. Steve Finley, 85, was it? I think so. Chris Boisio, David Rode, Alan Anderson, Jose Rio, Greg Olson. Oh, Bo Jackson. Might be worth 50 cents. Juan Gonzalez, definitely good home run hitter, all-star. Not sure if he's in the Hall of Fame, but he probably has close to those numbers. Doug Drabak, all-star. John Burkett, Jason Grimsley, Dave Valley, Jim Gardner. Lance Dixon, Kevin McReynolds, Pete O'Brien, Carlton Fisk, Hall of Famer, Gino Petroli, Brooke Jacoby, Luis Pelonia again, Bob Jaron, Mookie Wilson again, gets through Buckner, Daryl Boston, that's kind of a cool capture, Todd Pagnozzi, Wally Joyner. All-star, I think Wally Joyner was. Rick Aguilera, Chernobyl relation to Christina, Mark Karen, Blackjack McDowell, All-Star, Alfaro Espinoza, Dave Henderson, Hector Villanova, Dave Steeb, All-Star. I think he threw a no-no. John Oliver, speaking of no-nos, gotta appreciate this guy, man. One hand, he threw a no-no. Triumph of the will there. Tom Browning, Greg Briel. Good for Mr. Abbott. I'm sure he got told he couldn't do things his whole life because of his disability. And he was a decent picture. He's in history, though. Got the Hall of Fame. Got that no-no. No one can take that away from him, so good for him. Craig Wilson, Candy Maldonado, former J. Lance Blankenship. James Quirk. Tim Wallach. He was a good for Montreal for a long time. Third bag. Paul Sorrento. Scott Kuhlbach. Gary Thurman. Dion Sanders, prime time. Pedro Munoz. Dennis Cook. Mike Morgan. Dennis Eckersley. Bud Black. Felix Jones. Lloyd Mosby. I think he might have made an all-star appearance. He was a good, decent player. Paul Morris. Chris Knobloss. Mike Pellegrino. Bill Wigman. There we go. Here's a good Hall of Famer. Tony Gwynn. Kurt Wilkerson. Pedro Munoz. Bill Swift. Down to the last two. Come on, man. I gotta pull a Griffey. Friend and I were talking about. Can you imagine if Ken Griffey didn't play field but just was a DH? The numbers that guy would have. Oh man, untouchable. He's always hurt himself out in the field, eh? Rob Deere, Mark McGuire again, Kent Merker, Travis Fryman again. Man, harsh. Larry Anderson, Gary Wayne, Vincent Pligolas. I'm not sure he's saying that name. Fred McGriff, Crime Dog again. Chuck McElroy, McElroy, Tom Lampton, Jeff Reed, and the useless checklist. All right, last pack magic. This shows you how hard it is to, make your money back on buying boxes. I got a huge collection for $100. Well, junk wax, so it's not too bad, but yeah, it's tough. Brady Anderson, he must have been on the juice. I remember one year he hit 50 home runs just out of nowhere. Charlie Breck, Jeff Parrott, Sean Bolsky, Jeff Bagwell, All-Star Hall of Famer, Luis Gonzalez, All-Star, Chuck Knobloch, All-Star, Ed Nunez, Albert Bell, definitely an All-Star, Mo Vaughn, All-Star, Willie Randolph, All-Star, and Matt Morrell. And that is it. No Griffies, man. Total bummer. I'll double check and see if there's any stick cards, but I doubt it. That sucks. Anyway, stay tuned again because I got lots of packs to rip. Thanks for watching. Peace out.